Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU, the mighty mega spammer here to ban people. And you might be noticing that I'm talking in an unusual type of voice. That being a little bit more quiet, slower than usual as well, and all in all just different. And you may be asking why? Why is that? Well, let me tell you. Actually, let me show you. This is why. It's rather late, or in fact early. And the thing here is that I need to not only wake up in 5 hours more or less, a bit more than that fortunately, but still. But there are also other people asleep in my house, so I can't cry or shout too wildly, if you know what I'm trying to say. So this is a slight problem, because I do need to create this videocast right now, and yeah. I'm having to create it, but also not being allowed to speak loudly is a little bit of an issue. But I hope that you'll be able to forgive me for this, and that this videocast is going to be good enough regardless. I mean, I can still talk. I just can't scream like I usually would, but that's fine. Let's just chill out together again and ban some people. It's really cool. It's what I like to do in the afternoon. Anyway, let's start with a battle, because hey, why not? I still have at least 3 Soakis, so that's good enough to go for defensive formation. I might lose a Soaky, I admit, but there's much I can do about it. But I can do the illusion, which I was waiting to do for a very long time. And after the initial first phase, I doubt there will be any enemy ships still alive to actually damage me, and even if there will be, then there will be not enough of them to actually kill me, at least kill me quickly. So yeah, I will go for guillotine though, because hey, get back here, get back here. Okay, I dropped something, sorry. So let's go into manual. Yeah, every now and again I have those days when I need to make a videocast before tomorrow, because I know that tomorrow is going to be even worse than today, and today was very busy. This happens all the time. That was what happened to me today, as you might expect. And I know that tomorrow I'll be home very late, even though I'm leaving quite early. I'll be home like, well, I don't know, 8 p.m, maybe later than that. Well, definitely, what am I talking about? Definitely later, so yeah. It would take me a while to actually get back home and be able to record a videocast, and I'll get back home past my deadline. So I really do have to make this videocast right now, or else you're not going to actually see it, which would be slightly problematic and annoying, wouldn't it? So that's why I'm making it right now. Now there's another thing, a little announcement that I'm going to tease you about, because I'm not going to announce it just yet. And wow, this looks kind of awesome. The illusions actually blow up. I didn't think that was the case. Anyway, the enemy is still... Something I didn't check because I was talking too much, is that the enemy is still alive with quite a few ships online, and I'm using barriers, which is suboptimal because the enemy is actually using weapon overclock. Now it's obviously too late to change that for the better, but yeah, at least I noticed that, because it now doesn't matter, the enemy only has 1 ship left, but still. And they went for barrier this time around as well, because this ship has no weapons. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to tease you all about a little announcement, but yeah, how am I going to tease you about an announcement? Because I can't just say what this announcement is all about, because then I'll say what this announcement is. I'll just say the announcement, right? And then there's nothing to tease you about. You'll just know what I was going to tease you about. But how do you tease about announcements? It's rather difficult to do, isn't it? It feels really difficult, in fact. I don't think about it. Wow, I'm killing some Harmony ships, because hey, why not? Actually, this fleet of mine is quite badly hit. It has no Soakis at all, and the enemy is using a lot of Simics with basically every defense they can think of, which is a problem since I am mostly relying on beams, aren't I? Well, partial on beams, partial on missiles, but those guys are well defended against both. So I'm actually thinking about going for Nosebreaker in this scenario, which is not the best one, because the thing is, I go for Nosebreaker, okay? Do you know what will happen? Let me tell you. All my ships are going to fire missiles at one of those ships, one of them. And they are also going to fire their beams at one of those ships, okay? The beams will fire twice and they will kill the ship. And then the missiles will arrive and they will hit nothing else, because there will no longer be a ship that the missiles fired at. This is a problem of Nosebreaker, especially when you mix beams with missiles or missiles with kinetics as well. Although missiles with kinetics not as much, because kinetics are generally better in non-long range. phases, so that's a different scenario. So there's why I wouldn't necessarily want to go for Nosebreaker, but at the same time I feel like I should. I mean, it could be very annoying if the enemy goes for weaker first, it just lets me focus fire on Tectonic, basically getting rid of not a single bit of enemy's firepower, and at the same time making sure that they can still deal a nice amount of damage to me. So, what is the optimal course of action? First of all, battle cards, I'll just go for Magnetic Field all the way across the sky, because I have a feeling that with the amount of the kinetics the enemy has, they will go for Weapon Overclock, and I need to counter it as much as I can. The amount Barbarians do have some deflectors, not a lot, not enough, but they have some, so that is something. I think I'm going to open it up with a Spread Fire formation, not formation but targeting, so that I destroy this Tectonic and it's actually gone, and then I'm going to switch into Nosebreaker to kill the Simics. I think it's a better idea. Default formation because I only have Barbarians and they are all equal, so let's go into manual and see how well this goes. It could go quite poorly, to be honest. I mean, the thing about making a good fleet, it has to be a balanced fleet as... Am I recording? Oh yes, I am. Ooh. But I'm not counting the time, and I can't make this video guys too long. I mean, I could, but I kinda want to sleep if you know what I'm trying to say, so yeah. Anyway, I forgot totally what I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, thing is, if you want to have a good fleet, you need this fleet to be actually balanced, as in, you need some tanks, you need some DPS ships, maybe some support ships as well. It's not like in the early games of Endless Space when you could just spam one type of ship and be fine. I mean, if you want to make a glass cannon type of fleet, then yes, you can still do that and it will work quite nicely for you, that's true. But unless you do not want to go for just a glass cannon technique, then you probably should mix your ships together, because otherwise it could be quite awkward and bad for you. Alright, I was able to take down the enemy's Tectonic and I'm still countering the enemy as well, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So now, by focus firing on one of the enemy ships, I'm actually able to break through its defenses and thus maybe, just maybe destroy it. Even with the addition of my missiles, that's true, but oh boy, I would want to be this ship. Holy Toledo, this guy, it's not one of his best days, and he is down indeed, that's why I like... Oh no, 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 no! I didn't change the Spread Fire into a Nosebreaker in the last then. I won't say that this was going to cost me a ship, because if it does cost me a ship, then this would cost me a ship regardless, and it does cost me a ship, annoyingly enough. But it might mean that the enemy's ship was not going to fall, which is probably what is going to happen. Whereas in another scenario, I could have been able to destroy another Simic. Could have, but that's only an assumption, to be honest, because keep in mind, with this set for Riga Allen, weapons only deal 50% of the maximum damage when they are not in their optimal phase, and I have nothing for melee phase, so this probably would have gone poorly either way, or either way. So yeah, there's at least that. At least, I don't know why I call this at least, but whatever, you know the deal. Okay, what else is there to do? There is an invasion ship rider. Why don't we send this guy to Merop to conquer it a little bit faster, because I do want to have Merop already. Seriously, guys. As for you to say, you've got more invasion ships. And this guy, well, who is he? That's an invasion ship as well. So, I think that the best idea is to actually start sending them to Gatria, because with the addition of this invasion, it will only take me like 3 turns to actually conquer Merop soon. I don't need any more support in this regard. So, nope, I'm not sending those guys over there. I'm sending them to Gatria as soon as I declare a battle on the enemy, which is important. Okay, double license, not a problem. They have no firepower except for a few fighters, which is nothing. And those Mephions, they're kinda scary, but not too scary, honestly, even though they counter me with their defenses, but they're not doing an amazing job at countering me either. I started with Illusion and proceed with Shot Second, I guess? Actually, I might as well counter the enemy, because the enemy will go for Weapon Overclock. I could counter them in longer range phase as well, but I really love Illusion, I really do. Besides, I have a thing that some of the Sokis do not have enough health to survive, even if I do counter the enemy with Magnetic Field, so no, just no. Formation, I think I'm going to go for default, so that my Barbarians can, you know, take some damage for those Sokis and make sure that my Sokis actually survive. I think it's a good idea. I can easily go for Spread Fire. Yeah, those two guys will fall quite fast. As for those guys, whatever, after I kill those two will be primary targets, and they'll go down quite quickly as well. A lot of battles this episode, not a lot of other strategical planning, or even proceeding to the next turns, because we have not proceeded to a single turn just yet, so it's kinda awkward and funny. Not a really big problem, though, not a really big problem. Something I also wanted to mention that is unrelated to my little announcement that I'm going to make at some point in the future is that I actually got an invitation to Hearthstone Beta. Closed beta, mind you, which is about to end and enter the open beta phase. I guess I shouldn't really complain because at least I'm in Hearthstone, but at the same time it's kinda hilarious. I'm not complaining, I really am not, but it couldn't be worse timing honestly, because right now there are just too many games for me to play. I mean, I want to play them all, and at the same time, I do not have time to play all the games that I want to play. And you might be thinking, oh, interesting actually, the kinds of the enemy went for, whatever. You might be thinking, hey Pancake, what kind of games do you want to play? Well, there's Starbound, which entered beta, what is it today? I think it was today actually, I can download it right now, I will do so before I go to sleep in fact, because I'm leaving my computer overnight anyway, so yeah. So there's Starbound, there is Hearthstone, there's Endless Space, there is Planetary Annihilation, there's Survive that I keep playing with Gameslayer, there's XCOM Enemy Within, and finally there's Supreme Commander, which I also play with Gameslayer and kill him every single time we play, with one exception where he was just really lame and snapped my commander, but I was actually kinda proud of him, I have to be honest, because every single time I was stopping him like no tomorrow, I was just giving him a chance to survive. And in our last game I was playing with him a little bit too much. Obviously I had a way more powerful army than he did, but I didn't finish him off as quickly as I could have. I just wanted to get a nuke. Guess they not only destroyed my nuke, but then he also sniped my commander, whereas I could have easily killed his commander earlier. So I was quite proud of him that he was actually able to do that, stop me from taunting him. That was nice. I should have probably complimented him, but at the same time I know he's not going to watch this video because he doesn't care about my Endless Space video series, so I can compliment him and he will never know. I don't know why this feels evil, but it does, and I like it. Okay, what do I want to go for now? I need Fearless 4, but I noticed that the Amoeba are not actually using heroes as of yet. So I'm thinking about going for Ground Pounder for extra melee, which is not important for me right now, but it does give me access to Beam Surge. And Beam Surge I want just because it's Beam Surge, it's a really cool name, okay? And it is another battle card that I can use if necessary. And there are only 3 battle cards that I will have ever access to. Armor Weak Point, Beam Surge, and Illusion. Illusion is awesome, as I said. Armor Weak Point is nice, but it's not that great. Although it is actually probably better than Beam Surge, honestly, because when you look at it, then Beam Surge, yeah, extra critical chance on lasers, or even more so than when you block the enemy. That's nice. But when you look at Armor Weak Point, then that's minus 20% for all enemy defense mods. Minus 20%, or even more than that if you block the enemy. That's ridiculously good. No matter how you look at it, it can save you. It can make the enemy ships die much faster, which is very important, and honestly, in my opinion, this is a more powerful card than Beam Surge can ever possibly be. I mean, the worst thing about Beam Surge is that it relies on critical chance, which is exactly a chance. I mean, cool, I've got a 50% chance to deal extra damage, but I can be unlucky and just never ever proc the chance even after 100 hits. Unlikely, possible. Okay, that's the problem with this card. Not a very big one, mind you, but still, it is without a doubt a weaker card than Armor Weak Point, unless you spec into beams only, then maybe. And if the enemy doesn't go for a lot of defense modes and instead focuses on armor, because musically enough, Armor Weak Point isn't actually good against armor, it is good against defense type of modules. So yeah, when the enemy has a lot of armor, not a lot of defense for modules, and you go for a lot of beams, then yes, go for Beam Surge. Otherwise, don't, unless you want to see cool effects, and that's why I often go for Beam Surge myself. I just like the shiny lights. Who doesn't, honestly? Okay, those guys can now go into Gatria, and in fact, they have no place with my in my hero's fleet, which is a problem. Also, they have not enough invasion power to actually invade the system because it has 4800 defense. I only have 3600 invasion power, which is not quite enough. Alright. Now I'm making more invasion ships on Auriga, but the problem is I'm losing my ships on the Harmony front, and I cannot afford to do that. So what I'm thinking is allow my other systems to make a few more invasion ships, whereas Auriga, well, I quite simply needed to make me some more battleships, as simple as that. So Zolkis will do the trick. I need 3 of them at the very least for my other fleet, and I also need to reinforce it with a few more barbarians because I am definitely going to lose some of those guys. Now, as for that, I can increase my taxes because, Yes, pain will not be ecstatic, but I could care less about pain being ecstatic, to be honest. I do want my other systems to be ecstatic, and I do want to be fervent overall. So I'm going to leave my tax rate at 30%, but I'm at least losing a bit less per turn, a bit less. It's not a big difference, but it is a difference. It doesn't matter in the end, since I'm still going to earn a bunch of dust every single turn, because hey, I'm killing the enemy so fast and furious that it's just plainly awesome. Okay, now the thing is, next time the enemy is also going to attack this fleet, and this might be a problem because I have a feeling they might actually destroy it entirely. So just in the event that this does happen, what I'm going to do is just buy out a few extra ships to make sure that I have a secondary fleet if I need it. So there we go, I've got a bunch of barbarians, a lot of Sokis, 4 Sokis, 1, 2 and 5 barbarians. 5 barbarians is not quite enough, but if we make it into 6, 7, 8 barbarians, then I still have a nice amount of dust stored up, and I will also have a very powerful fleet made in a single turn, which is a nice thing indeed. Let's look at the score, shall we? I'm 30 in terms of military power and the amount of ships I've got, which is nice. That's exactly where I want to be, because it's just a perfect place to be at. I mean, not perfect. Number 1 is better, obviously, but it's not the worst, it really isn't. In terms of fleets, however, that's what I care about the most. I'm still second, I have still no idea how I'm doing this, but I am. And in terms of science, which is also very important, I'm 5th. So I'm climbing up slowly but surely, which is important. Also, out of piracies, that's good, they weaken the amoeba very slightly. That's a very weak feat, honestly, but at least they'll try to do something against the amoeba. And the score is going down, I think it used to be 800 something, now it's not. And my score keeps growing, which is also nice. Alrighty then, the enemy is going to attack my fleet indeed. I'm kind of thinking about retreating, but now with my powerful fleet that I made on Ariga, I do not really think that this is all that necessary. I mean, look at this fleet, my fleet is amazing. Yeah, I just said it, whatever. Deal with it. And my guy actually leveled up twice because of the amount of ships he made. That's nice because he does need it. He can finally get efficient schooling, which he needed. And motivational leader, which is also a very powerful ability no matter how you look at it. Unless you are playing, you have your hero on a maxed out system. Actually, it is a maxed out system, oops. Didn't notice that. So I guess I need to colonize another planet, which is a problem. It will lower my approval, but I can deal with that. Now, I can either colonize a small baron, which will not last for very long. A large baron with EM radiation, that's a very bad anomaly, I'd rather avoid it. Or medium active with acid rain, which is even worse than EM radiation in all honesty, because it gives you more unhappiness and less productivity. I mean, more productivity penalty, and I could care less about dust, honestly, so yeah. It is Arctic though, so just by that it is better than a Baron, but yeah, EM radiation, not good, not good. I think I'm just going to go for a small Baron, because my reasoning behind this is that I'll probably be able to gain access to technology that gives me more population of small planets relatively quickly, so this will at least have 3 population, which is not that bad, question mark. Also, can I terraform my planet yet? No, not yet. I'll get to that eventually. So yeah, let's colonize this planet, why not? And after that, what did I want to do? That's a very good question. Because I don't really remember. Okay, technology, I'm about to be able to colonize lavas. I'm still quite far away from turning planets into lavas, so there we go. In fact, you know what? I need improved thermodynamics first, I would say. I mean, yes, getting access to a new ship is important and all nice and dandy, but being able to improve this Baron I'm about to colonize is kind of important, at least in my eyes. Okay, hold on a second, I've got access to bombers! Okay then, in this case, I really do want Falcons because they like bombers a lot, those Falcons, so yeah. I kinda sad that I wasted all this dust making weak ships when I could have made weaker ships that at least have bombers on them. It might sound strange, but that's actually the case. Alright, now the other thing is, I don't really need this exploitation. I'm with my hero powers, I'm getting a lot of food per turn, no matter what happens. And this iron graphing is nice, I could care less about it though. So, Exoskeleton Station, not the best. In fact, most definitely the worst, but I'll go for it for now. My Arid could definitely use a Temple of Finance because it's very nice on Arids, and Tundra, this is very nice because it actually benefits the most from geoindustrial plants, and I do want this system to actually have some more production. Do I need more ships? I do not think so. I can make a few more invasion ships while I'm at it actually. So let's make a few more and call it a day, I guess. So there we go, that's the science done, that's the production done. Holy Toledo, there's a lot of ships. Let's finish the movement point for my ships as well. I'm making my way towards Merope and going to conquer it at some point in time. Now, my ships over here are in a little bit of a problem. They might all die. I wouldn't be surprised, but they might also survive, like one of those might survive. I need at least one to survive so that they continue blocking Equinus, which would be nice. In terms of battle cards I'm going to play, most definitely magnetic field all the way across the sky, because hey, why not? With default formation and manual. Also, I'm going to drink me some water, so excuse me for a second. Yes, it is water, not juice, because I don't like drinking non-water. In fact, I don't like eating or drinking before going to bed unless it's water. I suppose that's why. Because usually before sleep, I tend to brush my teeth. Yes, I know a rather revolutionary and slightly radical concept, but I tend to do that. And I have finished brushing my teeth before making this videocast, so I hate eating or drinking anything that has... and anything at all, in fact, after doing so, even water, because water does have a taste, and it doesn't mix well with paste, so yeah. But it has been a while, and I have been talking a lot, so my saliva cleaned my mouth, which might sound dirty for some of you, and honestly it's just our physiology, so you shouldn't care about the saliva at all, so let me drink some water. Tasty, delicious water. That's what I need. Alright, so the enemy is dying, and I just realized that it's getting harder and harder for me to concentrate. Which is usually a bad sign. It means that I might actually be more tired than I thought I am. Which is a problem. Fortunately, I didn't have anything that requires a lot of attention tomorrow. I mean, yes, some things might require my attention, but I can mostly sleep my way through them. Well, not really sleep. But if I don't pay much attention, I will not be penalized too much, so it's okay, but I should probably actually go to sleep relatively quickly. So you know what, this videocast might only be like 20 minutes long, maybe shorter, but I'm sorry, I do need to sleep a little bit. And oh wow, this animation, those shields, they look cool whenever they activate. But anyway, yeah, as I was trying to say, I do need to sleep. I'm sorry, I think I'm going to call it a day right here. It wasn't a bad videocast, honestly, not in my eyes at the very least. I feel like, well, we only proceeded to 110, maybe 2 if I press End 10, and I probably will be able to do so. Never mind, the enemy attacked me. But it's not going to be an interesting battle. I can easily auto-battle this, because no matter what happens, everything is going to be the same. So magnetic field, more magnetic field, and even more magnetic field. Auto, I will probably lose some barbarians, because they are really heavily damaged. Yeah, I lost 2, but I'm still alive somehow, which is amusing to say the least. But the enemy keeps attacking, which is a problem, and this time around I don't think there's anything that can save me. So let's go for Underbridge Surgery all the way across the sky and ignore the enemy. Wait a second, weapon of o'clock does counter Underbridge Surgery. Never mind then. Let's go just continue going for magnetic field, because hey, why not? Auto and lose all my barbarians. Yep, but the enemy almost died as well. I have no idea why they went for weapon disruption, because this made no sense. Actually, I did have some missiles, so whatever. The enemy did die though. I mean, he didn't die, but he's pretty close to dying. Alright, so let's move this invasion guy over here, then send them to Gatria, because I need some more invasion ships over there. UDSS, met with this fleet, so I'm actually starting to conquer Gatria, which is nice. As for my main fleet, it can actually attack the enemy, and I should do so, even though I said that I want to go to sleep right now. So you know what, I think I'm just going to auto-battle this. Yes, I know it's kinda lame to do so, but I really need to sleep, and we will see plenty of battles in the future as well, so let's do that. Let's then continue going for magnetic field and some more magnetic field, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, the enemy didn't change at all. Let's go into auto, but actually, default formation? Yeah, default formation is going to be good enough. Those Sokis are still quite heavily damaged. So let's do that. The enemy died, but I did lose a Soki, which was unexpected and slightly annoying, but it's okay. But I gained a lot of dust this time, which is good, because I'm losing a lot of it as well. I'm still losing less of it than I'm gaining because of the amount of ships I'm destroying, but you still know that you. Alright, end my 10, and end my cast as well. It was PANCZASU, the mighty mixed power. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment. I really need those comments. I love them a lot, and they are the best motivation I can ever get. That's the first thing. And the second thing is leave a like as well, because they help me out a lot with Google search engines, and they also make my ego go up, which I do like. I don't force people to favorite my videos. It is, of course, mightily appreciated, because it helps me more so than anything else, really. But well, maybe not anything else. I do like seeing comments more than I like seeing favorites, mostly because it's hard to see that somebody favorited the video. But for YouTube set rankings, favorites are more important. But still, personally, I don't like favoriting too many videocasts because I want to feel like my favorites are special, so I'm not forcing you to favorite my videos. It would be nice, but it's not necessary. And those guys are cowards. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.